All right, deep divers ready for takeoff because today's deep dive is cleared for departure, and it's all about a career path you might not expect.
Ever looked up at a plane and thought, how on earth do they teach someone to direct all that traffic?
Well, today are your air traffic control guiding you through the world of an air traffic instructor.
And we're going way beyond those basic job descriptions.
Absolutely. We're going to uncover the real skills, the knowledge, and even some of the surprising demands that come with shaping those folks who keep our skies safe and running smoothly.
Okay, so let's unpack this.
Our source today is from RoleCatcher, which, if you're a regular listener, is a fantastic resource for all things career-related.
And their deep dive into air traffic instructors, it's seriously impressive.
It's not just some sugar-coated overview either.
Right from the start, they really hit you with the intensity of this job.
They even use the phrase high-stakes environment,
Yeah.
which, let's be honest, when you're talking about airplanes, just putting it mildly.
What I find fascinating is how the RoleCatcher guide emphasizes this balance that's so crucial for air traffic instructors.
Of course you need deep technical knowledge about air traffic control. That goes without saying.
But they highlight how it's not enough to just know the rules of the sky. You have to be able to teach them effectively, too.
It's like imagine explaining a triple axle to someone while you're also trying to coach them through it in real time.
And speaking of real time, I love how the RoleCatcher guide paints this really vivid picture of what an air traffic instructor's world is actually like.
We're not just talking classrooms here, though.
Yeah.
Those are part of it.
Think high-tech simulation labs where trainees are sweating it out in front of incredibly realistic simulations, dealing with everything from near misses to sudden thunderstorms, all while their instructor's watching their every move.
And that kind of simulation-based training is huge right now. And not just in aviation.
I mean, think about healthcare engineering, finance. They're all incorporating these incredibly immersive simulations.
So when you really dig into how air traffic instructors are trained to excel in that kind of high-pressure, high-stakes environment.
That's knowledge and insight that translates way beyond the flight deck.
Absolutely. And speaking of pressure, I can't even imagine trying to enjoy a sandwich during my lunch break while my student is over there in the simulator dealing with a bird strike during a blizzard.
Talk about a stressful way to spend your afternoon.
But hey, I guess that speaks to the dedication and the resilience that these instructors develop.
They have to be on their A game both in the classroom and in those simulations.
Which, speaking of being on your A-game RoleCatcher, gets really specific about the skills needed to succeed as an air traffic instructor.
And get this, it's not just about loving planes or acing your aerodynamics exams.
You're right, you might think it's all radar blips and flight patterns, but the RoleCatcher guide emphasizes a much more diverse skill set.
They talk about active listening, critical thinking, even strong writing skills, because you're responsible for creating training materials.
It's way more intellectually demanding than people might realize.
And that actually ties into something else they emphasize that's so important no matter what field you're in, being a lifelong learner.
They talk about how aviation is constantly evolving with new technologies, updated regulations.
So air traffic instructors can't just rest on their laurels after they get certified.
They have to be constantly absorbing new information, always adapting their teaching methods, and that really resonated with me.
It's almost like the guide is saying, if you're not comfortable with being a student yourself, always pushing yourself to learn, this might not be the right career path for you.
And that's where RoleCatcher really delivers, I think.
They don't just leave you hanging with this idea of, okay, it's a challenging role, good luck.
They actually lay out a pretty clear flight path for anyone interested in becoming an air traffic instructor.
It's true they break down potential degrees you could pursue, like air traffic management or aviation operations.
They go into detail about the certifications you'd need, things like the air traffic control tower operator certificate.
Yeah. And they even point out ways to get that hands-on experience that's so crucial, whether it's through internships or simulations.
Exactly. And for me, I found their breakdown of career progression really insightful.
They talk about how you might start as an assistant instructor and then work your way up to a senior instructor role, maybe even moving into management down the line.
It really shows how this isn't just a job, it's a potential career path with real long-term possibilities.
And to top it all off, RoleCatcher doesn't abandon you once you've got the skills and the experience.
They even give you a glimpse into the interview process with some common questions you might be asked.
I found this part so valuable because it's like getting a sneak peek behind the curtain.
Totally. It's like having a cheat sheet for the interview, but not in a bad way.
It's about being prepared and understanding what those interviewers are really looking for in a candidate.
Right. It's about aligning yourself with their expectations.
You know, one question that really stood out to me was, Can you describe a time you had to make a difficult decision under pressure?
And when you think about the nature of air traffic control, it makes perfect sense why they ask that.
This is a career where staying calm and making critical choices under pressure is essential.
That one question really reveals a lot about what they're looking for in an ideal candidate.
It's like they're testing your air traffic control reflexes before you even step foot in the tower.
But here's where things get even more interesting.
The guide actually gives a few examples of how someone might answer that question effectively, and it's not just about saying, I'm good under pressure.
They emphasize the importance of structuring your response using something called the STAR method.
Yes. The STAR method. I was hoping we'd get to that.
It stands for Situation, Task, Action, Result. And it's such a useful framework for answering these behavioral interview questions, no matter what field you're in, really.
Okay, so walk us through it.
How would someone use the STAR method to answer this question about making tough decisions under pressure?
Give us an example.
Okay, so let's say you're interviewing for this air traffic instructor position, and they hit you with that question. Describe a time you had to make a difficult decision under pressure.
You could use the STAR method to tell a story from your past experience.
Maybe you were working on a group project in college, and you were up against a tight deadline. That's the situation.
The task was to finish the project on time, but you and your team were facing a major obstacle.
Maybe a key member dropped the ball, or some crucial information was missing.
Okay, I can see how that would be stressful. So what did you do?
That's the action part, right?
Exactly. This is where you talk about the specific actions you took to overcome the challenge.
Did you stay calm and delegate tasks effectively? Did you come up with the creative solution to work around the problem? Did you have to make a tough call, like cutting a feature or asking for an extension?
And then you wrap it up with the result, right?
What happened because of the actions you took?
Yes. Did your team end up succeeding despite the challenge? Did you learn a valuable lesson about leadership or decision-making?
This is your chance to really highlight your skills and how they led to a positive outcome, even in a high-pressure situation.
That's so smart.
Yeah.
I love how the RoleCatcher guide breaks down not only what questions to expect, but also how to answer them effectively.
It's like they're giving you the tools and the strategies you need to actually ace that interview.
And they go beyond just the technical aspects of the interview, too.
They also offer advice on how to demonstrate your passion for aviation and your enthusiasm for teaching.
They even talk about the importance of asking thoughtful questions at the end of the interview to show that you're genuinely interested and engaged.
It's all about making a good impression and showing that you're not just qualified on paper.
But that you'd be a great fit for their team and their culture.
Absolutely. And speaking of culture, there's a whole section in the RoleCatcher guide about the importance of soft skills for air traffic instructors. And it's something that really resonated with me.
They highlight qualities like patience, empathy, and clear communication as being absolutely crucial for success in this role. That makes so much sense. You're not just dealing with planes, you're dealing with people.
And people who are under a lot of stress learning complex information and potentially making life or death decisions.
Exactly.
Think about it. You're going to have trainees from all different backgrounds with varying levels of experience and different learning styles.
So being able to adapt your communication style, be patient and understanding, and create a supportive learning environment is just as important as knowing your way around an air traffic control tower.
And this is something I think we can all relate to, even if we're not aspiring air traffic instructors.
The ability to connect with people, build trust, and communicate effectively, those are skills that are valuable in any field, in any career, in any aspect of life.
100%.
And it's refreshing to see a career guide that really emphasizes the importance of those soft skills because they're often overlooked or undervalued.
But the reality is those skills can be just as important as your technical abilities when it comes to building a successful and fulfilling career.
So true. Now, I don't want to jump ahead too much, but I know the RoleCatcher guide also touches on some of the challenges and rewards of being an air traffic instructor.
And I think that's something our listeners will be curious about as well.
Absolutely.
It's not all smooth skies and perfect landings, right?
There are definitely challenges inherent in this profession, just like in any career.
Okay, so let's dive into those challenges then.
What does the RoleCatcher guide highlight as some of the tougher aspects of being an air traffic instructor?
Well, they're very upfront about the fact that
It's a high-pressure job with a lot of responsibility.
you're constantly making decisions that impact the safety of people's lives.
They actually quote a veteran air traffic instructor in the guide who said, and I'm paraphrasing here,
You never really stop feeling the weight of that responsibility, even after years on the job.
but that's also what makes it so rewarding.
Wow, that's powerful.
So even though there's that constant pressure, there's also a deep sense of fulfillment that comes with it. And
Exactly.
I think that's a common thread in many demanding professions. The guide also talks about the challenges of keeping up with the ever-changing world of aviation.
New technologies always emerge. Emerging regulations are being updated.
So there's a need for continuous learning and professional development.
That makes sense, especially given how much emphasis they put on being a lifelong learner earlier in the guide.
They walk the walk, you know?
But speaking of rewards, let's talk about the flip side.
What are some of the things that make this career path so fulfilling, aside from, guiding planes safely through the sky?
Well, the RoleCatcher guide emphasizes the immense satisfaction that comes from shaping the next generation of aviation professionals.
You're not just teaching someone a job, you're potentially inspiring a lifelong passion for aviation.
That's got to be an amazing feeling seeing your trainees go on to have successful careers, knowing you played a part in their journey.
Absolutely.
And they highlight the camaraderie and teamwork that exists within the air traffic control community.
It's a high-stress environment, so being able to rely on your colleagues and support each other is essential.
It's like you're all part of this elite team working together to keep the skies safe.
And I imagine there's a real sense of purpose that comes with that.
Definitely.
And let's not forget the potential for career growth and advancement.
The guy talks about how experienced air traffic instructors can move into management roles, training and development positions, or even consulting work.
So many possibilities. You can really chart your own course in this field.
It's not a one-size-fits-all career path.
Exactly.
And I think that's one of the key takeaways from this deep dive into the world of air traffic instructors.
It's a demanding career, no doubt, but it's also one that's incredibly rewarding, intellectually stimulating, and offers a lot of room for growth and personal fulfillment.
It's about precision communication and a passion for aviation.
It's about shaping the future of flight, one trainee at a time.
And who knows, maybe one of our listeners today will be inspired to take flight on this incredible career path.
Now, wouldn't that be something?
And with the resources and insights from guides like this one from RoleCatcher, they'll have a real flight plan to help them reach their destination.
Absolutely. So for those of you who are intrigued, who want to learn more,
We highly recommend checking out RoleCatcher's full guide. We'll be sure to include a link in the show notes.
but here's the thing, deep divers. This is just one example of the kind of deep dives we do here.
That's right.
If you've got a burning curiosity about a particular career, a field of study, anything really, let us know.
We'll do the research, gather the most insightful sources, and take you on a deep dive that will leave you feeling informed, inspired, and maybe even a little bit changed.
Because that's what we're all about here at the Deep Dive, diving deep into the things that matter, uncovering hidden gems of knowledge.
And empowering you to explore the world with a little more curiosity and a lot more confidence. Until next time, keep exploring.